November 14th, 1963, 11:47 a.m. Wells Restaurant, 7th Avenue, Harlem. 40 FBI agents surrounded the building. 6 black SUVs blocking every exit. Helicopters overhead. News cameras positioned across the street. Inside, Ellsworth, Bumpy. Johnson sat alone in his usual booth, cutting into a perfectly cooked ribeye steak. Special Agent Thomas Crawford stood at the entrance with 12 armed agents. He carried a federal arrest warrant and orders directly from J. Edgar Hoover himself. Make it public, humiliate him in front of his own people, show Harlem who really runs their neighborhood. Crawford walked in, gun drawn. Ellsworth Johnson, FBI, you're under arrest for… Bumpy held up one finger. Didn't look up from his steak. I'm eating. Crawford blinked. Excuse me? I said I'm eating. You can wait. We have a federal warrant. Bumpy finally looked at him. No fear, no anger, just cold authority. And I have a $45 steak that's getting cold. You interrupted my lunch. The least you can do is let me finish it with dignity. The entire restaurant went silent. Crawford's hand tightened on his gun. Bumpy's voice dropped to ice. You pull that gun in here. 40 cameras outside film you shooting an unarmed man eating lunch. How's that gonna look on the evening news, Agent? He glanced at the badge. Crawford? Crawford froze, because Bumpy was absolutely right. Shooting a man eating steak would destroy the FBI's credibility forever. Bumpy turned back to his meal, cut another piece, chewed slowly. I'll be done in 10 minutes. Then you can parade me out in handcuffs like the hero you think you are. Crawford stood there, helpless. 12 armed agents behind him, equally helpless. For 11 agonizing minutes, the Federal Bureau of Investigation waited while Bumpy Johnson finished his lunch. Outside, word spread through Harlem like wildfire. By the time Bumpy wiped his mouth with a napkin, 300 people lined 7th Avenue. Bumpy left a $100 tip for the waitress. Stood slowly, held out his wrists. I'm ready now, Agent Crawford. Crawford's hands shook as he applied the handcuffs. You think this is a victory? You're going to prison. Bumpy smiled. Maybe. But you just spent 11 minutes standing in my restaurant while I ate steak. Who really won here? As they walked him out, the crowd didn't riot. They applauded. Bumpy Johnson had turned his arrest into theater, and the FBI looked like fools on national television. That night, FBI headquarters, Washington, D.C. Crawford threw the evening newspaper on J. Edgar Hoover's desk. Headline: Harlem crime boss makes FBI wait while he finishes lunch. Photo: Bumpy calmly eating while 12 armed agents stand behind him like waiters. Hoover's face turned purple with rage. You let him eat? Sir, if we'd pulled him away from the table by force. You made the FBI look weak. Crawford swallowed hard. We still arrested him, sir, and he still won, because tomorrow morning, every black neighborhood in America will be talking about the man who made J. Edgar Hoover wait for his steak. Hoover leaned forward across his desk. I want him destroyed, not arrested, destroyed. Find his weakness, find the people he trusts, and turn them against him. Crawford nodded slowly. Yes, sir. Everyone has a Judas, Agent Crawford. Find Bumpy Johnson's. 5 days later, they found their opportunity. November 1963, Harlem, New York. They say loyalty dies twice. Once when the betrayal happens, and again when you realize it was inevitable all along. This is the story of two men who built an empire together for 30 years. One phone call from the FBI destroyed everything. One became an informant. The other became a target. And when the truth came out, their final conversation would break both of them. This is Harlem's Judas. March 1933. A Harlem alley behind the Cotton Club. 4 white cops, off duty, drunk on power, were beating a young black man to death with nightsticks. The victim was Marcus Cole, 24, fresh out of Howard Law. His crime? Walking past a white woman without crossing the street. Bumpy Johnson heard the screams and should have kept walking. He didn't. That's enough. The cops turned, saw one black man, laughed. "Walk away, boy." Marcus was on the ground, one more hit from death. Bumpy didn't walk away. He shot the sergeant in the kneecap, put a bullet through the second cop's shoulder. The other 2 ran. Bumpy carried Marcus 6 blocks to a black doctor who asked no questions, paid for 3 weeks of care. When Marcus woke up 2 days later, Bumpy was reading the newspaper in the corner. "Why'd you save me?" Bumpy didn't look up. "4 against 1 ain't fair, and I hate cops. What's your name?" "Bumpy." "You?" "Marcus Cole. Nice to meet you. Now rest before your brain starts bleeding again." Marcus smiled through broken ribs. No white law firm is hiring the black man who got 2 cops shot. Bumpy folded his paper. "Then don't work for white people. Work for me." "Doing what?" "I run numbers in Harlem. Need someone smart to keep books and spot police traps." "You're offering me a job in organized crime?" "I'm offering you a life. Take it or walk out that door with no money, no job, and enemies in the NYPD. You'll be dead in a week." Marcus thought for exactly 10 seconds. "When do I start?" "Soon as you can walk without falling over." That was the beginning of a 30-year brotherhood. For 18 years, they were unstoppable. Bumpy handled problems with bullets. Marcus handled them with brains. 1935. Bumpy wanted war with Dutch Schultz over territory. Marcus negotiated a profit-sharing deal instead. Both men got rich. Nobody died. 1940. Bumpy was arrested for assault. Marcus found the legal loophole. Charges dropped. 1947. A rival shot at Marcus outside the Savoy Ballroom. Bumpy stepped in front of the bullet, took it in the shoulder. "Now we're even," Bumpy said from his hospital bed. "We were always even," Marcus replied. They weren't just partners. They were brothers. But 1951 changed everything. Bumpy was convicted of heroin conspiracy. 15 years. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. Before the marshals took him, Bumpy pulled Marcus aside. "Keep the organization running. Don't let the Italians take Harlem. And remember, in this business, the person closest to you is the one who can hurt you most. I'll be here when you get out. I know you will." They shook hands. Bumpy disappeared into America's most notorious prison for 12 years. For 12 years, Marcus ran Bumpy's empire alone. Every decision, every crisis, every challenge, and every single month, he made the trip to visit Bumpy in Alcatraz. He kept detailed ledgers. Not a dollar missing, not a lieutenant disloyal, not a territory lost. In 1952, Marcus's younger brother William was arrested for armed robbery. 10 years in Sing Sing. Marcus visited once. William begged for help. "You made your choice," Marcus said coldly. My daughter needs me. You should have thought of that before robbing that liquor store." William's face hardened. "When you need me someday, remember this. Marcus left and never returned." In 1956, William got out. Marcus gave him a job against his better judgment. Collections, low level, safe, or so he thought. June 1963. Bumpy walked out of Alcatraz a free man. Marcus was waiting at the gates. At Bumpy's old office, Marcus handed him a folder. 12 years of perfectly organized records. Bumpy looked at the numbers, then at Marcus. His voice broke. 12 years. You could have taken everything. You're my brother. Brothers don't run. They embraced. For 6 months, everything was perfect. Then came November 14th, the stake arrest, the FBI's humiliation, and J. Edgar Hoover's order, find his Judas. 5 days later, William gave them the perfect opportunity. 11:47 p.m. William was making his usual Tuesday collections. 14 stops across Harlem. He parked on 145th Street. $14,000 cash inside the car. Left the engine running, went upstairs for the last pickup. 6 minutes later, 2 white men breaking into his car. William panicked. Drew his gun. Should have fired a warning shot. Instead, he shot one of them in the chest. Point blank. The man dropped dead instantly. William saw the badge on his belt. NYPD. Officer Patrick Murphy. Age 28. Married. 2 kids. An off-duty cop trying to steal what he thought was just another car. Now dead. William ran straight to Marcus's house at 12:30 a.m. and pounded on the door. Marcus opened it, saw William's face, and knew, "I killed a cop." Those 4 words changed everything. By 2 a.m., they were in Bumpy's office. William told the story, shaking. Bumpy lit a cigar. "Okay, William disappears tonight. I've got a safe house in Philadelphia. They'll find him," an enforcer said. "Cop killers don't hide. Then we make sure they don't look hard. Marcus, reach out to our people in the NYPD. Find out who Murphy was." After everyone left, Marcus sat alone with Bumpy. "You were right. I shouldn't have brought him in. He's family. We'll fix this. And if we can't?" Bumpy met his eyes. "Then we deal with that when it comes." It came 3 weeks later. 2 FBI agents knocked on Marcus's door. Special Agent Thomas Crawford, white, 50s, dead eyes. The same man Bumpy had humiliated at Wells' restaurant. Special Agent Robert Chen, Chinese-American, younger, sharper. "We need to talk about your brother," Crawford said. Marcus let them in. Crawford pulled out a folder. November 19th. Officer Murphy was killed. We have a witness. Ballistics. Your brother's car. Enough for the electric chair. Chen leaned forward. "But we want something more valuable than one cop killer." Crawford opened the folder. Surveillance photos. Bumpy entering buildings. Meeting criminals. Handing cash to corrupt cops. And in many photos, Marcus standing right beside him. Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, the man who made fools of us on national television. We need someone on the inside, someone he trusts completely. Marcus's heart stopped. "You want me to inform on Bumpy?" Crawford's eyes were cold. 3 weeks ago, your boss humiliated the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He made us wait while he ate steak. Do you have any idea how that felt? We want you to help us dismantle a criminal empire. Crawford pulled out a second folder. Surveillance photos of Marcus's 14-year-old daughter, Sarah, leaving school. Time stamped. Recent. She's 14 now, right? Honor student. Columbia University is her dream. Marcus's hands started shaking. How do you... Chen opened more folders. Marcus's wife at work, his niece at ballet class, his brother's 3-year-old daughter at daycare. We've been watching all of you for 6 months. Crawford leaned back. If William goes to trial, this becomes national news. Harlem crime family, mobster's accountant's brother murders white police officer. Every newspaper, every TV station. He pointed at Sarah's photo. That girl will be famous for all the wrong reasons. Columbia won't touch her. No university will. We'll make sure of it. Her life ends before it starts. But if you cooperate, Chen said, William disappears. No trial, no press. We bury the Murphy case. Your family never knows. Crawford stood. In exchange, you give us Johnson. Schedules, locations, financial records, everything we need to put him away for life. He smiled coldly. Your boss made us look like fools. Now you're going to help us destroy him from the inside. 24 hours to decide. Marcus stared at the photographs spread across his coffee table. His daughter smiling, his wife leaving work, his nieces playing, his entire family weaponized against him. You're monsters, he whispered. Crawford paused at the door. We're patriots protecting our country from criminal enterprises. History will remember us as heroes. And you will be a footnote. Confidential informant 2847. The door closed. Marcus had 24 hours to choose between his brother's life and his daughter's future, between his best friend and his family, between loyalty and survival. There was no good choice, only degrees of betrayal. The next day, he signed the papers. For 3 weeks after signing, Marcus picked up the phone to call Bumpy 17 times. Each time, he imagined the conversation. Bumpy, I need help. William killed a cop. FBI wants me to inform. They have photos of Sarah. And each time, he imagined Bumpy's response. Sometimes, cold eyes, betrayal, disgust. You came to me after signing? Other times, I'll handle it. And William dead within 24 hours. Marcus couldn't risk either outcome. By the 17th attempt, his hand shook so badly he couldn't hold the receiver. His wife, Dolores, found him in their kitchen at 4 a.m., phone in his lap, crying. Whatever this is, we can handle it together. He wanted to tell her everything, but the FBI was listening. They'd bugged his house. I'm fine, just work stress. She didn't believe him, but she held him anyway. The next morning, Marcus gave the FBI Bumpy's schedule. The lies had begun, and with each passing day, calling Bumpy became more impossible. Because how do you confess you've already betrayed someone 17 times? For 22 months, Marcus lived 2 lives. By day, Bumpy's most trusted advisor. By night, confidential informant NY2847. He fed the FBI carefully curated information, meeting locations. Bumpy planned to change, associates already leaving, daily routines that didn't matter. Always true, never dangerous. Threading an invisible needle. It was killing him. Marcus lost 30 pounds, developed an ulcer, started drinking half a bottle of whiskey every night. July 1965. Crawford grew impatient. 22 months, and what do we have? Surveillance we already had. We need more. I've given you everything without getting killed. Have you? Or have you been playing us? Crawford slid a photo across the table. A Brooklyn warehouse. August 15th. Johnson is meeting Vincent Gigante. We want you wearing a wire. Record everything. That'll get me killed. They check everyone for bugs. Chen pulled out the folders. Sarah's photos. Dolores. The nieces. William's been safe in Ghana for 2 years. Want that to continue? You said if I cooperated. Cooperate fully, Crawford interrupted. Wear the wire or the deal ends. William stands trial. Sarah's name hits every newspaper. Marcus walked out, knowing his time had run out. He couldn't wear a wire, but he couldn't refuse the FBI. For 3 days, he saw no way out. Then he made his decision. Confess everything to Bumpy. Death, exile, forgiveness. Anything was better than the lies. 11:47 p.m. Marcus walked into Bumpy's office and closed the door. Marcus wasn't expecting you. Everything okay? No. Bumpy set down his pen. What happened? I need to tell you something, and after I do, you're probably going to kill me. Silence. Sit down. Bumpy, sit down. Bumpy poured 2 glasses of bourbon. Now talk. Marcus drank his entire glass in one swallow. Then he told the truth. All of it. William killing Murphy. FBI showing up 3 weeks later. Photos of Sarah. Threats against her future. 24 hours to decide. Signing the agreement. Becoming informant 28/7. 22 months of feeding them information. The wire demand. The 17 times he almost called for help but couldn't. When he finished, Bumpy sat completely still. Expression somewhere between rage and heartbreak. Finally, Bumpy spoke quietly. How much did you give them? Schedules, locations, names, nothing that could be used in court. How much? Marcus flinched. Everything they asked for, but I was careful. Nothing that would actually hurt you. Bumpy walked to the window. Back to Harlem. His kingdom. Their kingdom. 30 years, Marcus. I know. I took a bullet for you in 1947. Remember? Yes? And when the Genovese wanted you dead in 1952, who hid you for 3 months? You did. Who paid for Sarah's school? You did. Who sat with you when Dolores had that miscarriage? Held you while you cried? Marcus's voice broke. You did. Bumpy turned around, tears streaming down his face. So when the FBI came to your door threatening your family, why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you come to me? Because I knew what you'd say, Marcus shouted back. You'd tell me William made his choice, that I should let him face consequences. Is that what you think of me? After 30 years, you think I'm that cold? You told me not to bring him in. And I was right, but when it went bad, I didn't abandon him. I protected him because he was your brother and you're mine. Marcus collapsed, sobbing. I didn't know what to do. They had photos. They said William would die. You were supposed to trust me. The words echoed. Bumpy sat down heavily. I would have helped you, moved heaven and earth to save William, found the witness, bribed the cops, called in every favor, anything to keep you from having to do this. I know that now. Sorry doesn't fix this. Silence. Finally, Marcus spoke. So what happens? You kill me? Bumpy looked up. Is that what you want? I want you to tell me what to do, like always. Bumpy poured them both another drink. You wear the wire. Marcus's head snapped up. What? August 15th. You wear it. Record everything. They'll arrest you. No, because you're going to feed them exactly what I tell you. We turn you into a double agent. That's insane. It's survival. The FBI thinks they own you. Let them. But you work for me. You tell them what I want them to hear. And William moves to Cuba tonight. Deeper cover, new identity, completely untraceable. His daughter thinks he died 2 years ago. That doesn't change. He never contacts her, never contacts you. He's dead to this world. And our friendship? Bumpy's face went cold. Our friendship died the moment you chose the FBI over me. What we have now is business. You work for me. I keep you alive. That's it. I understand. Do you? Let me be clear. I forgive you for being scared, for wanting to protect your family. I even forgive you for making the deal. He walked to the door, but I will never forgive you for not coming to me first, for not trusting me. After 30 years, you treated me like just another gangster, and that I can't forgive. Get out of my office, informant 2847. Marcus stood, walked to the door, stopped. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. Bumpy didn't look at him. No. You're sorry you got caught. If you could go back, you'd make the same choice, wouldn't you? Marcus opened his mouth to deny it. Couldn't. Yeah, I would. Bumpy finally looked at him. No anger, just sadness. Then we were never really brothers. Just two men who worked together and mistook proximity for loyalty. That's not true. Get out, Marcus. Marcus left. Behind him, Bumpy sat alone and cried for a friendship that had died 22 months ago. He just hadn't known it until tonight. Marcus wore the wire. FBI technicians taped the device to his chest. Smaller than a cigarette pack, virtually undetectable. Get Bumpy to talk about the heroin operation, suppliers, routes, anything concrete, Crawford instructed. His eyes gleamed with anticipation. This is our payback for the stake. 8 p.m., Brooklyn warehouse. Bumpy Johnson, Vincent Gigante, 5 associates each. Security searched everyone. Missed the wire completely. The meeting began. For 90 minutes they discussed territory, profit splits, distribution. But every single word was scripted by Bumpy 2 nights before. East Side routes are yielding 40% margins, Bumpy said clearly. We've got police cooperation through Officer David Williams at the 43rd Precinct. Officer David Williams didn't exist. Our supplier operates from Delancey Street, Mediterranean Imports. Mediterranean Imports was fiction. Delancey Street was an abandoned building. Every location fake. Every name fabricated. Every figure wrong. Bumpy was feeding the FBI a completely fictional drug operation. Marcus recorded it all. When it ended, Bumpy and Gigante shook hands. In Bumpy's office later, Marcus removed the wire. Handed it to Bumpy. Bumpy crushed it under his shoe. Tomorrow you give them a duplicate. Same recording. Let them think they won. And then you disappear. Ghana. Williams waiting. I'll never see Sarah again. No, you won't. That's the price of betrayal. August 22, 1965. 6:47 a.m. 200 FBI agents hit 15 locations simultaneously. Empty warehouses, fake businesses, paid actors. By 9 a.m., Crawford realized they'd been played. Again. By 11 a.m., he kicked down Marcus's door. The house was empty. Furniture gone. No forwarding address. Dolores was at her sister's, hysterical. He's missing. He left for work 3 days ago and never came home. Chen found a note addressed to Sarah. My dearest Sarah, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. The people I worked for decided I know too much. I'm sorry I won't see you graduate, walk you down the aisle, meet my grandchildren. Everything I did to protect our family. Go to Columbia, become the doctor you dreamed of being. Forgive me for not being there. I love you more than you'll ever know. Ah, Dad. Crawford crumpled the note. His hands shook with rage. Johnson helped him disappear. They stood in that empty house and understood. Bumpy Johnson had outplayed them. Again. First the stake, now this. Crawford had been humiliated twice by the same man, and there was nothing he could do about it. Ghana under President Kwame Nkrumah was more than a country. It was a promise. Africa for Africans, at home and abroad. No extradition treaty with the United States. No FBI jurisdiction. A Pan-African sanctuary for those fleeing persecution. Bumpy had used this route before. It was proven. The protection was real. 3 weeks after the failed raids, Marcus and Dolores resurfaced in Accra as Michael and Dorothy Coleman. New identities, bank account with $200,000, jobs at the university. A new life, a clean slate, but freedom came with a price. When Marcus arrived at the airport, William was waiting. They embraced. Then William pulled back, crying. I'm sorry. I destroyed your life. Marcus looked at the brother he'd sacrificed everything to save. Yeah, you did. If I could go back. You can't. None of us can. Does Bumpy hate me? Bumpy doesn't even know you exist anymore. You're a ghost. We all are. My daughter thinks you died 2 years ago. She buried an empty box and cried over a lie. William's face crumpled. I'll never see her again. No, that was the price. They stood in that terminal, 2 brothers who'd lost everything. Was it worth it? William asked. Losing Bumpy to save me? Marcus picked up his suitcase and walked toward the exit. Ask me again in 30 years. Behind them, invisible but always present, was the ghost of Bumpy Johnson, the best man either of them had ever known. The phone rang at 3 a.m. in Marcus's house in Ghana. He knew who it was before answering. Hello? It's me. Bumpy's voice across 5,000 miles. Silence. I didn't think I'd hear from you again. You won't. This is the last time. I understand. I'm calling to tell you 3 things. First, your daughter thinks you died in a car accident. She's devastated, but she'll heal. Don't contact her. Ever. I won't. Second, the FBI knows I played them. Crawford especially. They'll come harder now. I might not survive. If I don't, remember me as I was before. Bumpy. Third, I forgive you. The words hung in the air. What? I forgive you. You chose your brother over me. I don't agree. I'll never understand. But I forgive you. Because if our positions were reversed, I don't know what I would have done either. Marcus was crying. I'm so sorry. I know. And Marcus? Yes? In another life, we really were brothers. We were brothers in this life. No. In this life, we were business partners who forgot the difference. And that's why it fell apart. Can I ask one thing? What? Would you really have helped William if I'd come to you first? Long pause. Yeah, I would have. Because you asked. and because 30 years means something. I should have trusted you. You should have, but you didn't. And now we both live with that. Bumpy. Goodbye, Marcus. The line went dead. Marcus sat in the dark, phone still pressed to his ear, crying for the friendship he'd destroyed. Bumpy Johnson clutched his chest at Wells' restaurant while eating his usual dinner. Chicken legs and hominy grits. The same restaurant where he'd made the FBI wait 3 years earlier. He fell forward onto the table, dead at age 62. Heart attack. 5,000 people attended his funeral. News reached Ghana 2 days later. Marcus Cole sat alone and read the obituary over and over. Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, Harlem's last great crime boss, died peacefully surrounded by friends. But Marcus knew the truth. Bumpy died surrounded by associates, not friends, because his real friend had been 5,000 miles away, living with the knowledge that he'd betrayed the best man he'd ever known, for a brother who'd made one stupid mistake. Accra, Ghana. Marcus Cole died in his garden, age 79. Heart failure. On his desk, a photograph from 1948. Marcus and Bumpy outside the Savoy ballroom, arms around each other, laughing. Marcus had carried that photo for 27 years, never threw it away, never showed anyone, just looked at it sometimes when the guilt became unbearable. And every single day for 27 years, he asked himself the same question. Was William's life worth Bumpy's friendship? He never found the answer, because some questions don't have answers, only regrets. Marcus Isaiah Cole died with more regrets than any man should carry. But in his final moments, he whispered 2 words, "I'm sorry." Whether to Bumpy, William, Sarah, or himself, no one ever knew. This story is fictionalized drama based on Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, 1905–1968, who famously made FBI agents wait while he finished eating steak during his arrest and died of a heart attack at Wells' restaurant on July 7, 1968. Marcus Cole is fictional, created to explore loyalty and impossible choices. The FBI's COINTELPRO operations employed tactics of blackmail and family threats to create informants within black communities. Ghana, under Kwame Nkrumah, actively welcomed African Americans fleeing persecution with no extradition treaty. While this betrayal is invented, the emotional truth remains. Sometimes the hardest betrayals aren't born of malice, but of love and fear. I really want to know, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments. This story has reached viewers on every continent, and I'm always amazed by how far these legends travel. What would you have done? Save your brother and betray your best friend? Or tell the truth and risk everything? The comments are going to be wild on this one. Drop a comment, share this story, let's debate it. If this story of loyalty, betrayal, and impossible choices hit different, drop a like and subscribe. Oh, this is the untold history they don't teach in schools. See you in the next one.